Hey y'all, how's it going? Hope you had a great Easter. You know, um, there's an old saying about, I mentioned this before, that it's better to keep your mouth closed and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and remove all doubt. And last week, on Thursday or Friday, there was a video that started circulating. Probably saw something about it anyway. And the state senator out in the state of Washington on the West Coast was um, talking about a bill that she was, or an amendment to a bill that she was trying to introduce, having to do with nurses and 12-hour shifts. And part of her um, stance talked about that nurses should just go to an 8-hour shift because they're always complaining about being tired anyway. So let's go to an 8-hour shift. and But the main point that came about that was so controversial was what she said about nurses, that they're probably just back in the back playing cards anyway. Wow. All the unmitigated nerve that a person could have. This lady said that about nurses. Now I wanted to make these videos to be less political, not political at all, if I could. I made the statement in my original video that I didn't want to get politics and religion into it very much, but every once in a while there would be a little something, and this time there's going to be something that's pretty political. Now this lady, the senator, was a Republican, so I assume she's conservative. At least that's what they had on the video, that she was a Republican. But I got a feeling that she didn't know anything about the medical industry, and especially about nursing. Now let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been married to a nurse for almost 14 years. We've been together for 15, almost 16 years. So I'm pretty close to the nursing industry in that regard. The past 12 years I've worked in the medical field. I've worked in several different hospitals, from Seattle, Washington, to Savannah, Georgia, to New Hampshire, all across the country. Lots of different hospitals. I've been an inpatient in several hospitals. I've had surgeries in several hospitals. I've been in the ED, emergency department, in several hospitals. I've been around a lot of nurses, guys. I've been an inpatient in hospitals for a day, 2, 3, 9, longer. And so I kind of have a feeling I know a little bit about what nurses do. I have a lot of friends who are nurses. And I have seen firsthand what nurses go through. I've been a part of what they go through. And let me tell you that my wife works an 8-hour shift, and she's tired when she gets home. She has worked 12-hour shifts. She used to work in ED, and it was a 12-hour shift, and she was tired when she got home. Nurses are tired when they get home. I don't care what part of nursing they are in. They're tired when they get home. I don't care how many hours they work. They're tired when they get home. Let me tell you why they're tired. Let me tell you what they're tired of. First of all, they're tired of going in and having to chart all the little things that they do for every patient. And it takes time. They're tired of standing on their feet for almost that entire 12 hours without any real time to sit down and just rest. When they are sitting down, they're probably charting, and they're probably grabbing a bite to eat, a drink of water, maybe going to the restroom if they have a chance. They're tired. They're tired of patients who, through no fault of their own, by the way, have explosive diarrhea or can't control their bladder. So the nurses have to help clean up the patient in their bed or the floor. And they're tired of smelling urine and feces and vomit. They're tired of lifting patients, turning patients over. They're tired of trying to start an IV in a patient that hasn't had a drink of water in 2 days, so they're dehydrated and their veins are the size of a pencil lead. They're tired of patients with families who 20 at a time come to visit and try to fit themselves all in a room the size of a closet while the nurse is trying to get in there and get vitals. And they don't want to leave Uncle Joe or Grandma. They want to stay in there and see what's going on. They're tired of standing in the hallways and leaning up against the wall while they do a little charting because their back hurts so much. And that leaning against the wall just helps alleviate a little bit of the pain and gives them a little bit of rest. They're tired of a 30-minute lunch break, which takes 5 minutes to get to the hospital cafeteria, only to find that the person at the grill in front of them can't decide if they want their burger medium or medium well, or if they want a chicken sandwich instead. And they're tired of getting up to the checkout and finding out that the person in front of them is digging in their purse for change because they don't want any more change in their purse or their pocket. And they're tired of, instead of having 30 minutes for that lunch, they have to wolf down in 10 minutes because they got to get back on the floor and continue their work. They're tired of a patient call button going off because the patient is in dire need through no fault again of their own. But the nurse is there with a bladder that's completely full, overflowing. They need to go to the restroom, but they can't because this patient is in need. They're tired of having so many patients that they can't take care of all of them. And they certainly can't take every little need that they want. They're tired of 5 call buttons going off at once because patient A is needing to get up, go to the bathroom. Patient B is having chest pains. Patient C wants an aspirin. Patient D has cold soup. Wow. Then you go down to the ED. And the emergency room, waiting room is full of patients. And those nurses are tired too. They're tired of people coming in because they had the sniffles and they're just sick and they need pain meds. They're tired of people, again, through no fault of their own, getting into situations like drug deals or drug overdoses or car wrecks. And right about the time when they think they're going to get a couple of minutes to run to the restroom, a trauma patient shows up and they have to drop everything and go take care of that patient. Yeah, they're tired. But let me tell you what they're more tired of. More than anything, they're tired of two things. They're tired of understaffing. They're tired of not being able to take care of their patients the way they need to because of understaffing and because of a lot of regulations. And they're tired of people who are disrespectful of what they do. And when you stand up in front of a legislative assembly with cameras rolling and recording what you say, and you make a remark that they're probably in the back playing cards, I don't think I've ever heard anything more disrespectful to a group of people in my life. You might say, well, what about, you name off a half a dozen things. Okay. But that was total disrespect. This lady owes every nurse in the United States and around the world an apology. And she really should be forced to go to every hospital in the state of Washington and stand in front of those nurses and announce a public apology and shake hands with all of them. And I'll bet you any amount of money that this next election in the state of Washington, you're going to see a plethora of nurses hitting the voting booth to vote this lady out. Let me tell you something. There are people who I have a great deal of respect for in this world. The soldier who goes into battle and doesn't back up, goes right in there head first and headstrong, does their duty, serves their country the way they're supposed to. The people who work in the law enforcement agencies, who risk their lives every day, never know when they hit their shift if they're going to come home that night or not. And the people in the medical field, the ones who are taking care of you when you're sick. And to the senator, the state senator up in Washington, the next time you're in the hospital or the ER, I wouldn't want to be you. But I'm going to tell you something. Despite the despicable thing that you said, those doctors and nurses are going to take care of you the best they know how. They might have to bite their tongue while they're doing it, but they will, because that's what they do. So friends, let me tell you something. If you know a nurse, or if you see someone in scrubs, or you see an EMT or a law enforcement agent, a veteran, someone in uniform, military uniform, walk up to them and thank them for what they do. You know, we have a lot of people that do that with the military, and I do it. I see guys in fatigues, like at the airport or whatever, and a lot of times I'll go up to them and say, "Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service." But you know, I think we need to do that to nurses too. You know, I was just saying about thank God for nurses because they keep doctors from killing you. There's a lot of truth to that, by the way. So yeah, next time you see a nurse, next time you're around someone that you know is a nurse, you know someone who just got off a 12-hour shift especially, just thank them for what they do. You know, we all have our jobs, we all have our things that we do in life, and they're all important. But you know, it's one of the things that I do in the business side of the hospital systems is I have a saying. You know, people jump up and they say, "Oh, we've got to get this done. We've got to get that done. It's a major issue to get this taken care of." And I go, "Yeah, but we're not going to kill any patients. Don't panic. We're not killing patients." And there's a lot to that because you know what? Doctors and nurses and the people down in the trenches that are dealing one-on-one with the patients, they can, through no fault of their own, cause the death of a patient. And I'm going to tell you that I hear stories all the time from nurses about things that happen. Pharmacy sends the wrong meds. Doctors make decisions, put in orders. Other nurses start doing something, and a second nurse sees it and questions it. There's stories about that all the time. So yeah, thank a nurse for doing what she does. All right, guys. With all of that, I'm going to pray for that senator up in Washington. So I want you to do the same. That she is enlightened and understands. And goes back and apologizes. Then I want you to read your Bible. And you know what? I want you to go fishing.